Self-development is just amazing, right? You are here, you want to get here is a problem, and the self-development community is like, okay, cool, here's the solution, and here's how you can go from here to here. But if you've been in this community long enough, you would know that it also has a dark side, something that I would call the self-development trap. Now, this video is going to be split into two parts. In the first part of the video, I will discuss the signs that will help you know whether you are in the self-development trap or not. And in the second part of the video, you will learn how you can get out of this trap. The first thing to ask yourself is, why did I even get into self-development in the first place? Or why do I want to improve so much right now? Maybe both your answers are the same, maybe they are different. Either ways, knowing the motivator for why you're doing this in the first place is really important. Now, there's the good side, right? Where you actually are stuck in a problem and you actually want to grow and get better because you genuinely think that you can do much better than this. And that always sounds like a great answer, and that is what it always looks like. But for 1 second, I would like for you to pause this video and actually think on your why. What really motivates you to continuously improve yourself? Okay, so here are some of the underlying motivations for people to self-improve. Number one, highest on the list is fear or even pressure. At first, it doesn't seem like it, but it's in the smallest things. For example, as I was growing up, I was always told, if you don't do this, you won't get this, as opposed to, if you do this, you will get this. You see, one of them is framed in the manner where it is reinforcing fear into your mind, and the other one is actually motivating you to do better, thereby reducing friction. Similarly, societal pressure for success is also very real, and especially with all these new videos popping up of somebody starting a new business every day, moving abroad every day, I don't know. Because fear shows in such subtle ways that are so normalized, you might be a bit confused as to whether you're actually motivated out of fear or not. But I explain some of the ways fear manifests in this article, links down in the description. So after you're done watching this video, you can go check that out. A lot of the people in this community also come because they are lost, right? They don't quite know what to do. We don't quite know what to do, to be honest. Who knows what they're doing? But this community almost seems like at least something, right? It's almost like validating also in a sense. And for me specifically, the trap I fell into was proving myself. Proving myself to other people, showing other people I was enough. And my videos almost became like a source of validation. But that's not even what self-development is about. It's about gaining awareness and doing it for yourself. Some people out there even choose to self-improve out of ego. Because when they see all these people on social media, they want to be like them. But the truth is, they don't quite get the right mindset. The second sign is that whenever you rest, you feel guilty. Because your mind is so used to continuous stimulation and continuously doing something, that just resting feels boring. Like something is off, something is wrong. Even if your body actually needs that rest. So it's almost like your body and your mind are fighting each other almost. This can also be because you want to reinvent your life or glow up every single day or every single week. But that's just not how it works, okay? It was a motivating factor, yes, but I genuinely think the internet has taken breakup glow ups way too far. And what seeing this overnight successes make us very impatient. People out there are hella impatient. It's like just living a normal life, just being neutral for some time is just not normal any longer. Neutrality is boring. It's almost like how people get out of toxic households, and when they get in a positive, normal relationship, it's too boring for them. The same might have happened with your relationship with work. The third sign is that you're just growing for the sake of growing. You're not realizing all the achievements you've made on the way, though this is a very normal sign of burnout. Or maybe you are only happy when you've achieved something, when you've checked something off your list. Or maybe even that just doesn't give you joy because it's not what you want. And this can seem very contradicting, because the entire premise of self development is self awareness. To first understand what we truly want, journal about it, and then go for it. And that's how it usually starts, right? You find other people like yourself, you're finally happy, someone gets you, you're growing together, until it turns into pressure. For example, I follow all these self-development creators like Ali Abdal, Vanessa Law, Tamkor, Simone Squared, the list goes on, right? And there was a phase where I was burnt out, and I realized it was because of all the things that social media was portraying to me. And I realized something, that yes, I want more than the average lifestyle, but to be honest, I don't want Ali Abdal level of success, if that makes sense. Like, that's just not for me. That's just not what I want. I'm happier with less than that. So I should not strive for things that, I don't truly want. It doesn't have to be less than anything, but just understand, is what you're doing even what you want to do any longer? The fourth most evident sign I had was that, thanks to all this social media pressure, I had very unrealistic expectations from myself. So, we all know about SMART goals, right? Specific, measurable, achievement oriented, realistic, and time bound. The realistic aspect in this usually is what becomes a problem whenever we see overnight success on social media. We can actually forget that it takes years and years and years for someone to level up in their career field or their skill. How I realized this was that when I was in the middle of all this pressure, one day I actually started noting down whenever I made a decision to do something, and guess what? In 1 week, I had 4 5 decisions written on my document, which were about like entire personality changes. And the expectation from me was to do it all in 1 week. Like, does a person change their entire personality in 1 week? The first thing I want you to do is to understand why you need to stop doing this in the first place. So, let's say you watch a great routine online, right? And you're like, wow, why does my routine not look like that? Let me try and implement that from tomorrow. Now, the great part here is you're actually implementing something you saw. This is what self development did, right? But if you're at routine level number 3 and you're trying out number 10 all in one day, obviously it's not going to work. Or if it does work, even worse. If you've pushed through, like, even worse. Imagine getting into very intense exercise from day one when you've never exercised. Your nervous system would be hella dysregulated. You need to ease into routines, not rush into them, ease into them by slowly building habits, which is why all these unrealistic expectations are like a very short term gain. Because what comes early goes early. You know, those friendships that it take time and effort to form, they tend to stay. But the friends that tend to get closer to us early go early. Another issue that comes in, especially when people are doing inner healing in self development, is that by reading all these books and watching all these videos, you can understand something intellectually but not emotionally. And that is a problem, because you're not waiting for it to kind of hit you. You know, that moment when you read something in a book like ages ago, and then one day in the shower, it kind of hits you that, oh, that's what it meant. A lot of the self development stuff is very advanced to be understood in one time. Like, there is a reason this wisdom comes with growth and time and age. You cannot learn it all in one day. You're tricking yourself into thinking you've learned. Healing happens in the body, not the mind. You can rationalize something, you can reframe something in your head, you can understand it completely, you can forget it, and your nervous system will still act like you never did once that situation actually comes. And that's because your mind remembers what literally happened, but your body remembers the experience. It remembers the essence. And that's exactly why, even when someone is not your ex, you will still shut down in front of a person who shows you love. Because your mind remembers the details, the on the surface details, but your body remembers the essence of things. So take things slow, and this is why talk therapy alone often doesn't work. We often need somatic healing techniques. I also have an entire article explaining why and how this happens. So you can check it out at the end of this video, links in the description. So the first step is to simply connect to yourself and then ask, is this what I truly want now? Maybe as you grow up, your definition of success has changed. Maybe you understand that success to me is also about health and family and not just money. A lot of things change. So ask yourself, do I truly want this? Or is social media just making me want this? Is it genuinely what I want, or is it just for my ego? The third thing is that a lot of people also want to self improve because deep down they think that there is something wrong with them, especially the people who are so much into inner healing. But here's a perspective shift I want to give you. What if the goal or solution wasn't to become something, but to unlearn all that society has taught you so that you can truly, truly, truly be the most authentic version of yourself? There is nothing wrong with you. It's what wrong has been done to you. So don't think of it as self improvement, think of it as breaking habit loops, breaking patterns. Maybe you do something every single day and you know it's wrong. So to break that pattern, just try not to do that thing that day. Just try to break patterns as opposed to improving yourself, because as we stated before, the reason for why you want to self improve is much more important than the self improvement itself, because you carry that reason throughout until it becomes hidden. And I really, really, really don't want anyone to think there is something wrong with them. So when I was 14, a major life event happened, due to which I started sitting in bed every day, all day. I would just think there. I lost a ton of weight. I would oversleep. I was very slow in my tasks. I stopped taking an interest in all my hobbies, and basically nothing seemed to make me happy anymore. But because I was 14, I was not like, oh, I'm depressed. And although this had been going on for weeks, instead I was just thinking in terms of, why am I sitting here? I'm literally doing this to myself. And so I thought of it as just breaking a habit. Like, I've been doing this for months, so obviously my brain and body have forgotten how to be the old way. I need to break this pattern. So stop trying to label yourself. Instead, just try to break your patterns. Stop letting those labels limit you. They're to help you. They're simply a tool made for convenience. The next step is a practical one: record your progress. Because I bet you have done way more than you give yourself credit for. It's time to start being grateful for what you have done and to even just recognize that, okay? For example, I used to have a problem of screen time, right? So at the end of every single day, I made it a rule to actually check my screen time, and I realized, oh, my screen time is actually not that high. It was like 1 hour 50 minutes that I procrastinated. The rest of my screen time was just work. But I was like, wow, this is not even that high. And in my head, I was thinking like, oh my god, I wasted 4 or 5 hours today that I could have worked. But when I actually checked my screen time, it was pretty damn low. So maybe you are also being a little extra hard on yourself. Adjust your expectations, okay? Ask yourself at the end of every day, am I satisfied with myself today? And if you can see that you did realistically everything that you could have done and still you're not satisfied, maybe it's not your actions that need adjusting, but your expectations. This is another thing I used to struggle with, because I was the one who had to discipline myself as well as to go easy on myself. Sometimes I would just not know whether I should be hard on myself right about now because I should actually start working and I've procrastinated enough, or I should actually go easy on myself. So here's a practical tip I came up with. Set a bare minimum criteria for every day or week. So especially as a multi-passionate, I have a lot of goals, okay? But if you try to do everything, or if you try to have everything on your mind, you'll not be able to put all your focus into one thing properly. So every single week I have a theme. This week is for YouTube, this week is for design, this week is for that kind of way, okay? So let's say if I was a full-time content creator, my realistic bare minimum criteria for 1 week would be to upload one video by the end of the week. It's doable because I have an entire week to myself to do it, and YouTube is the platform that makes the most money, right? But at the same time, if you're used to a lot of work, you'll be like, just one video, like just one video in an entire week. I'm like, no, that's your bare minimum criteria that you have got to achieve, and anything else after that is bonus. Okay, something I do now is that I set maximum three priorities for the day, and the rest is bonus. Like I actually label it in my to-do list as bonus. So set a bare minimum criteria for the day. It should actually be something that's easy, okay? Not something that's insanely hard or unrealistic. This is a bare minimum, and anything else is bonus. The sixth one is to read self development books, not for the hell of finishing them, but implementing them as you read them. There was this one book I read, The Power of Now. I took one entire year to read it, not because the book was long, but because I was like, I will implement this as I keep reading this. And the principles in that book are so profound that it took me a very long time to actually utilize them in my own life. But I think if you're just reading books for the sake of finishing them, you're thinking you're being productive. But to be honest, all you're doing is increasing your self awareness of what you can't do yet. And it's like your brain is telling you to run ahead, but your body is like, slow down. I need time with this. Like, I bet if you're a self development geek, what was the last time you read a fictional book? What was the last time? Just for fun, you read a fictional book. I know that I stopped reading fictional books for 3 years, and to be honest, sometimes I felt guilty whenever I picked up a fictional book because I was like, I should be reading more self development. And if you struggle with this too, then read my article on how fiction is actually more self development than non fiction. And it's not like some warped, weird perspective where I'm telling you it's okay to do this. No, it's a genuine point. Fiction is actually more self developmental than non fiction. The seventh is a mindset shift. Persisting with the small steps is much more important than having huge leaps like social media shows us, overnight success. But what if I tell you that maybe hard work is just easy work repeated? Those small steps are things that are actually very easy. For example, if you have to do your entire syllabus, right? Every single day, if you read one page, then you will be able to finish it, as opposed to try to do it all in one day because you're like, one page is too less. But if you do that one page every day, then guess what? You're doing the easy thing every day, because hard work is not hard. Hard work is easy work repeated. I've realized the main key formula to taking things slow, relaxing, enjoying your life, and also engaging in self development is to realize that the key is to stay in the game long enough to win. Not by huge leaps, just staying in the game. Because most of the people quit, or they have overnight success, and that success doesn't stay long because what comes early goes early. It's one of the more boring solutions, quote unquote, but it's something that helps you truly enjoy your life and not create a Pinterest aesthetic. And especially for women, I think we really struggle to balance, I think, self love with self development. So here's something I recommend: cycle syncing. Cycle syncing is this process where you sync different parts of your work to different phases of your cycle. So, for example, follicular phase, I have the highest energy, I'm in the mood to talk, I want to socialize, that's when I record videos. And then the luteal phases, I'm low energy, but I'm more introspective, reflective. I want to more like, stay at home. That is the time when I write my monthly articles. Cycle syncing is something that has changed my life and my routine. I'll link a video down below in the description. So go check it out after finishing this one, of course. The ninth tip I have is to be okay with boredom and neutrality. Like, whenever that feeling will come, something is off. Maybe I should work. Maybe I'm not doing enough. Just observe those thoughts. Observe them pass by, but don't act on them. Something that can help with this is meditation, but just don't act on them. Trauma can also be a cause of this, but honestly, just working too much is also a cause of this. So just try to schedule rest on purpose, 20-minute rest slots in your calendar, like intentionally, even if you don't feel like it. Like, it will be weird at first, but just let it pass. Okay, just let the thoughts pass. And eventually, slowly but surely, you'll become okay with being neutral. My 10th tip is to simply be curious, explore new things. What self development does is, you're at point A, you want to get to point B. So, the more time, effort, resources you put into getting to point B is the more likely you're going to get to point B, and even earlier now because social media, so everything has to happen early because we are impatient. But we forget that life is not just about one goal, it's about exploring all these side quests as well. And it's when you do these side quests that you realize, oh, maybe I don't even want to go to path B. Halfway, you realize this. Maybe I want to go to path C. I feel in this way, self development can really box our thinking where, we are acting on something we don't even want any longer. We're not even that version of ourselves any longer. So just be open to trying new stuff. And remember, always remember, it's the journey, not the destination. I think another subconscious fear I had while I was trying to get out of this self development trap was that I was like, who would I be if I'm not a self development YouTuber? There was a loss of my identity because self development was my entire life. But it doesn't have to be. Shift your focus to something else in life other than self development, otherwise, you'll constantly fear this loss of identity. Base your identity around other things. Shift your focus to just being the curious person, the one who loves to explore, the one who prioritizes being happy, just experiencing, just being passionate, enjoying your life. The point is to shift your focus. So, guys, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. And please remember, you're doing much better than you think. Love yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. Don't get into this social media trap or this extravagant lifestyle. Is it truly what you want? And even if you do want it, learn to balance out self-love with self-development. Like, both are a part of literally the same sphere. Learn to take things slow and enjoying slow growth as opposed to huge leaps. And yeah, even take a social media detox. Like, this is something I forgot to mention. Take a social media detox and then realize, oh, these are my thoughts and this is what media taught me. There's even another video I've linked down in the description below. It's not mine, but it's just a really good video for this. Let me know in the comments down below which one of these points was helpful, and if you want a similar video from me explaining burnout. Thank you for watching. See you in the next 2 weeks. Bye bye.